Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at this year's winter forecast, as it's almost that time of year again. And this is a typical La Nina winter setup. We're going to be experiencing a La Nina winter this year, which means colder than average temperature waters off of South America. This yellow line is a subtropical jet. This is what brings the precip into the United States and the rest of the world. Anywhere in the green is most likely going to be wetter than average this year. This blue is colder than average, which will sink into the north and northeast this year. In the south you have a ridge, which will cause drier and warmer conditions this year. And anywhere where you don't have any color and it's just this blue, you'll most likely have average temperatures this year and average everything else. Precip, temperature, snowfall, etc. If you take it those 6 to 10 day outlook this is currently November 12th, this is what we'll be seeing. In the west, you have below average temperatures, and in the east, you have above average temperatures. Because there is a ridge forming out in the east, and also off of Alaska, which will cause the jet to dip down into the western coast, which will cause cold air from Antarctica to spill down, and then there'll be a ridge causing warm air to come into the east coast. Also at this time, wrong button. Also at this time, there'll be a hurricane that could affect Florida and the Gulf Coast, but that's in another video. If we take a look at 18 to 14 days outlook, it's pretty much the same thing. Warm in the east and cold in the west. If we take a look at the month outlook, you see that the ridge has moved off into the west, but there's not much cold air in the east. That's because the Arctic oscillation is in its positive states, which causes the cold air to stay up in the north and doesn't come down into the U.S. There's also a ridge that is going to come onshore and cause warm air, and then the cold air is just going to stay in the south due to the rain and will cause colder than average temperatures. Also, this is very far out. This is not set in stone. This is just a prediction from NOAA and Pivotal Weather here. But things change, especially in the 3-month outlook. You have a ridge in the south and a subflow jet up here. You have tiny chances of being below average temperatures in Washington, and the rest of the states will be above average. Nothing too exciting so far. Excuse me. If we take a look at CFS here, it shows this is a model that predicts the climate from this upcoming months. If we continue here, anywhere in the red is above average temperatures. Anywhere in the white is average temperatures, and anywhere in the blue is below average temperatures. We are currently looking at December. For this model, it shows a ridge across the whole United States, which is going to keep the cold air locked up in Canada and not come down to the United States. But if we shift into January, it has a high pressure off of Florida, and then you have a cold high coming down from Canada. This means there's going to be a negative P&A, which will be a high pressure is not off the west coast, which forces the cold air to go over the west coast, which we will not have in January, it looks like. It looks like there will be a high pressure over Florida instead of south of Alaska. If we continue to the next month, February, it shows things change. It shows that the high has moved from Florida all the way back over to the west coast. It's just going to cause the jet to go into the west coast, but not too far south, but then it's going to dip it all the way down into the eastern part of the U.S. and Midwest. In February, it looks like this will be the coldest month of the year. It'll be warm in the south and cold in the northern part of the U.S. Anywhere above this line, it looks like it'll be below average temperatures. If we continue here, we have March, which is pretty much the same thing, but a little bit warmer across the northeast, but it's still below average. And then April, it just stays cold in the west. The ridge moves back over the southeast and keeps warm air locked up, and the cold air locked up in the west coast too. If we continue to my prediction here, this is what I think will happen this winter with the temperatures. I think that anywhere where you have no colors, this is where you'll be the most chances for average temperatures. Anywhere in the light blue is 1 to 2 degrees below average. Anywhere in the regular blue, 2 to 3 degrees below average. Anywhere in the pink, 3 to 4 degrees below average. If we take out a look in the south and southeast, we look that we have 1 to 2 degrees above average. If we take a look in the south and southwest, we have 2 to 3 degrees above average. And in this red, we have 3 to 4 degrees above average. I hope everybody has a great day, and winter's approaching us fast, but we couldn't approach it faster. Have a great day, everybody.